What's up everyone, welcome back. Following an outright embarrassing defeat to the Mavericks, the Lakers have now fallen to the 11th seed. They currently have an identical record to the San Antonio Spurs, but even with San Antonio owning the tiebreaker over them, they are not even positioned to be in the play-in tournament right now. However, they could be getting back a notable reinforcement very soon, with that player being Anthony Davis. According to Chris Haynes, Anthony Davis is reportedly targeting a return on Friday against the New Orleans Pelicans or on Sunday against the Denver Nuggets. And if the Lakers hope to make the play-in tournament, they are going to need him. With only 7 games remaining, they cannot afford to lose many more. But will the return of Anthony Davis even be enough to propel them into the play-in tournament? Because even with him, it still might be a bit of a long shot. In order to beat out the San Antonio Spurs or the New Orleans Pelicans, they will very likely need to win at least 4 or 5 of their remaining games. And even though they are very likely getting Anthony Davis back, we don't know for sure when or if LeBron will return. After turning his ankle during their game against the Pelicans and then missing their game against the Mavericks, he could be out for a while longer. They have not provided an exact timeline for his return, and while it's unlikely that he will need to miss anything more than a week, it does beg the question of whether or not it's even worth it for him to come back. And not only LeBron, but Anthony Davis too. Both of them have dealt with injuries throughout the entire season, and it may not be worth it to rush them back. Now, it would be a disappointment to not even make the play-in tournament, but then again, they will probably be a disappointment either way. With how hyped up their team was entering the year, it's hard not to view them as anything other than a major letdown. I mean, sure, they definitely have dealt with their fair share of injuries and even COVID-19, but even being completely healthy would likely not have made them a real contender. And after realizing all of that, is it even worth it for them to bring back LeBron and Anthony Davis? Or if we expand that question a little bit further, would it even be enough to get them into the playoffs? They have a relatively tough remaining schedule, and they are far from guaranteed to make the play-in tournament, let alone the playoffs, even with a healthy Anthony Davis. Or if he is not completely healthy, much like LeBron will not be if he returns, that could be putting them at a greater risk of further harm. And if we are being completely honest here, the risk may not be worth the reward. Even if they get into the play-in tournament, they will still need to win back-to-back games in order to get into the real playoffs, both of which would very likely be road games by the way too. And as we know, they have not been a good team on the road this season. They currently own an awful 11-26 road record, which is one of the worst in the entire NBA. Playing on the road has been a problem for them all year long, and the return of Anthony Davis and maybe even LeBron is not likely to change that. Now, I will never completely count out LeBron and Anthony Davis when it comes to a playoff game, but it would be a real challenge. They are far better suited for a 7-game playoff round, rather than single-game elimination. But in regard to purely getting to that point, that will not be easy either. Getting back Anthony Davis will not guarantee them a spot in the play-in tournament. It's not like they have been a great team with him on the court. They only have a 17-20 record with Anthony Davis playing, and only an 11-10 record with him, LeBron, and Russ all playing together. They are obviously better with him on the court rather than him on the bench, but even Anthony Davis cannot turn them into a great or even a good team. They are simply what they are at this point. Even with all of their quote-unquote big three on the court together, they can only be referred to as slightly above average at best. And if I have to answer the question of the video, then no. The return of Anthony Davis alone would probably not be enough to get them into the playoffs. They would need both LeBron and Anthony Davis to return, along with getting additional outside help from San Antonio and New Orleans by dropping a few winnable games. And hoping for all of that might be a bit of a long shot. Now, I do think it could happen, but it's far from being a guarantee. I'm not even completely sure that LeBron will come back either. He kind of appears to be checked out, and he may not feel it's worth it to return. Although, I do think Anthony Davis feels the need to return. He has not even been able to play in half of their total games, and he appears to be motivated to get back on the court. He definitely does not want his season to once again be ended by an injury. That narrative has already been plaguing him for a while now, and sitting out would only make it worse. He knows that, we know that, and I think he wants to avoid that at all costs. Even if it would mean returning to a team that does not end up making the playoffs, I still think he would prefer to return rather than sitting out. It's already been another rough year for him, and not being able to come back would probably only make that worse. You may not feel that it's worth it, but I guarantee that he does. Whether it's to make an actual playoff push, or simply to be able to play in their final remaining games, either way, it's likely very important to him personally to come back. And I hope that if, or when he does eventually return, he will remind everyone of what he is capable of. Now again, I'm not sure that will lead to a spot in the play-in tournament, but nevertheless, it would be good to see. Every time AD is out, people really begin to talk crazy about him. I have heard some wildly disrespectful comments about him while he has been out. Everything from that he is no longer a top 20 player, that he is soft, he cannot be a number 2 option, and even that the Lakers need to trade him. And all of that is a bit too much for me. I mean, sure, it's definitely been disappointing for him to have missed time over the past year and a half, but in my opinion, a lot of people have really taken it too far. In conclusion though, I do think Anthony Davis will return, which I agree with, and that he will end up helping them, but I'm not sure it will be enough to propel them into the playoffs. In order for that to happen, it would likely require LeBron James coming back as well, and I'm not sure he will be able to do that, nor might he feel that it's worth it either. It is definitely going to be an uphill battle for them. They will not only need to win at least 4 or 5 of their remaining games, but like I mentioned before, they will need the Spurs and Pelicans to help them by losing too. And hoping for all of that to happen might be wishful thinking. For me, I do want them to continue trying, and not simply to give up, but I do recognize that they may have to do it without LeBron, and the return of Anthony Davis alone would probably not be enough to get them into the playoffs. But with that will conclude my thoughts on whether or not the return of Anthony Davis will lead to them making the playoffs. And what do you guys think? Do you believe that the return of AD will help them make a playoff push? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. But before you go, I would like to invite you to join the official Discord for the channel. If you like having NBA debates and discussion with others in real time, being updated on NBA news, or even being able to chat with me, then you really should think about joining. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to everyone who took the time to watch until the end of the video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.